Hey, this is John Hope Bryant, and I am so excited to announce today a partnership with Experian. Experian has launched today their 12th annual State of Credit Report. Um, this sort of outlines the state of credit in the country, the largest economy on the planet, the United States of America, $20 trillion a year plus economy. But this time, in the backdrop of the social justice movement of 2020, I call it social justice through an economic lens. This time, they decided to also partner with Operation Hope as we launched our financial well-being index, otherwise known here at Operation Hope as a Hope 700 credit score index. Now, you guys have heard me talking endlessly that nothing changes your life more than God or love than moving your credit score 120 points. You've heard me say that we move credit scores at Operation Hope 54 points in 6 months, 120 points in 24 months. That gets the bank or the credit union or the mortgage company or whoever you're dealing with, it helps to get your application with them out of the no bin and move back over to the yes bin. We're the only nonprofit in history allowed to operate inside of a bank branch, and we are in increasingly over 100 bank branches around the country and growing. Um, but this is what we're doing with the bank is getting them out of the no business and back into the yes business. But we've never sort of explained the magic sauce of what we do. And then I went a step further and I've suggested that social justice can be viewed through an economic lens. And I want to commend Craig Bounty and his team at Experian for listening to my message about social justice through an economic lens of being receptive to wanting to play a productive role in using free enterprise as a way to empower people and set them free, to give them a sense of true opportunity, and to use the free enterprise system as a gateway to hope and opportunity. And that's what has happened today with the launch of this credit score index in the context of the larger launch that Experian is doing. So let me get to the meat of the matter here. I want you to share this video. I want you to start a conversation. I'm about to say some things that are pretty provocative. I'm going to be pounding on this the next few weeks, even doing media about it. I'm going to do a whole video series here about it. Did you know that George Floyd was murdered in a 500 sub 600 credit score neighborhood? You say, what does that matter, John? Did you know that the majority of the unfortunate shootings of blacks at the hands of police in the last few years have also been in sub 600 credit score neighborhoods, what's called in neighborhood, where they lived? Let's take that sort of edgy issue out of it. Let's be more relatable to the average person watching this video. If you grew up in an underserved neighborhood like I grew up in, Compton, California, and South Central LA, here's what you see: a check casher next to a payday loan lender, next to a rent-to-own store, next to a title lender, next to a launch, pawn shop, next to some cases a renting rim store, renting those fancy tire rims with spinners. Don't get me started on that. Next to, I think I said, a liquor store, and then a church down the street trying to make it all feel a little bit better once a week is sort of the neighborhood therapist. That's a 600 credit score, 500 credit score, 400 credit score neighborhood. Let's say sub 600 credit score. It's not about the credit score. It's about the trending indicator of hope, well-being, engagement, opportunity, aspiration, financial literacy, opportunity at scale. So financial predators, look for and prey on these low wealth neighborhoods. Ambassador Andrew Young, who is Dr. King's right arm in the civil rights movement and my friend and my mentor, our global spokesman in Operation Hope, says this: to live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. I'll repeat that, and I'm going to get to some statistics that you can hold on to and share with your friends. To live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. So am I giving an analogy that somehow criminal justice, social justice, police brutality, racism, discrimination are somehow tied to credit scores? No, I am not. That's ridiculous. Am I saying that credit scores, low credit scores, are indicative of bad things that happen in otherwise good neighborhoods that change the culture of the neighborhood and make them places where people get preyed upon and not protected. Yes, I am saying that. I hope you caught that. Do you know that the poorest state in America has the lowest credit score state in America? Guess which state? By the way, you can go to Operation Hope, go to our credit score map, or go to the description in this video, follow the link, and pull up the city for yourself, pull up an area, any area in the country. Thanks to Experian, we've mapped I'm so excited. I've been dreaming about this. Thank you, Elaine Huggenberg, and my team at Operation Hope, and all my data people and my communications people. I've been bugging them about this forever. You can go and find every state and every city by credit score, every major city by credit score in the country. And here's what I'm going to promise you. There's going to be a correlation between the aspiration and the success for higher credit scores, or the crime, the murder, the mayhem in the low levels of high school education, low levels of two-parent households, high levels of depression, low levels of hope in lower credit score neighborhoods, right? Low levels of GDP, gross domestic product, and economic opportunity in low credit score neighborhoods, and higher levels of economic prosperity and stability in low crime, low levels of homicide, low levels of high levels of higher education, high levels of nuclear families in higher credit score neighborhoods. Go to the map, test it for yourself. It's mind-blowing how correlating all this is. So credit scores are a barometer, right? It's a trending indicator of what's going on in society, and we can fix the credit score. I'm gonna tell you something pretty major here. And by the way, half of African Americans, as an example, so please put a marker right now in this video. If somebody doesn't watch the whole video, just tell them to go to this marker in the video and just watch what John Hope Bryant and Operation Hope is saying right now. Just take this, cut it out, and share this part with your friends, okay? The average credit scores for African Americans, not poor people, not poor African Americans, all African Americans. And we are brilliant, by the way. We prove we are brilliant in so many areas, right? But we're never taught financial literacy. The Freedmen's Bank failure of 1865 after the Civil War, after Lincoln created it and Frederick Douglass tried to run it, but it was manipulated after Lincoln's death, and it failed. We never got a lesson on financial literacy after we were freed. What's the legacy of that today? Even though we're brilliant, half of African Americans have a credit score below 640, below 620, which means you're locked. Half of the country, half of African Americans are locked out of the free enterprise system. You can't get a loan to start a business, no matter how brilliant your business plan is, below 700 from a bank, because it's considered risky credit. Please listen to me. It's not racism. It's credit a qualification, right? It's risky credit. You're not going to get a loan if your credit score is toe up from the floor up, as we say in my neighborhood. You can't get a decent mortgage at a good interest rate to buy a home, become a homeowner at below 650, 680 credit score. What is the home ownership rate for African Americans in this country? In the 40s, the low 40s. What's the home ownership rate for their white counterparts? In the 70s. Even Hispanics and other groups are above African Americans. I think it's correlating to what I'm talking about now, the credit score and the access to good debt. Good debt are things that appreciate. Bad debt, like owning a home. Bad debt are things that depreciate, like financing jewelry. Don't get me started on that. I hope you're enjoying this, laughing a little bit and learning a little bit, so that we can make credit fun and interesting versus boring and wanting to put you to sleep. So here in Atlanta, where I live, the average credit score in a low wealth neighborhood would be in the high 580s, low 600s. But in Alpharetta, a prominent neighborhood in greater Atlanta, the credit score is well above 700, like 730. Nothing changes your life more than God or love than moving your credit score 120 points. There's never been a riot in a 700 credit score neighborhood in America's history. 700 credit score neighborhoods don't riot, they go shopping, right? The color is not white or black or red or blue, it's increasingly green. And this credit score index tells that story for the first time, I believe, in modern economic history or social justice history or community history or civil rights history. We're telling an old story in a new way. The reason I love math is it does not have an opinion. You don't have to have an opinion about what I'm saying. Just look at the data and look at the facts and see how it maps. All of the poor states have rock bottom credit scores. All the wealthy states have credit scores that are through the roof. All the wealthy cities, same thing. high credit scores. All the poor cities where all the murder, mayhem, drug abuse, drug dealing, single parent households. Not hating on single parent households. My mother was a single parent. I'm just saying it's a fact. Low levels of education, low levels of entrepreneurship creation, low levels of small business creation, low levels of wealth creation are all in these same low credit score neighborhoods where it's horrible policing, horrible infrastructure, horrible government services, horrible education. Here, let me tell you something powerful and maybe even magical. Here's my prediction. We raise credit scores 100 points, neighborhood by neighborhood. You'll stabilize America. That's my prediction. It's not about the credit score. It's about the economic energy and the hope and the well-being that follows those credit scores as it rises. You raise credit scores 100 points from 580 to 680, you stabilize the neighborhood. By the way, that's also statistically proven, not in this data, but in the other data that we have at Operation Hope. You can go to the Operation Hope channel to get all the data you want. Let me end where I started. I want to thank Experian for giving us the data. So that if you love the state of credit report, commend Experian. You love the data, commend Experian. You love they're doing this for the community, commend Experian. And my friend Craig Boundy, who is a CEO, who's on my board for Operation Hope. If you don't like what I'm saying because you think, well, you disagree with it at some point, although I'm not quite sure how you disagree with the facts, then blame me because these are my ideas. And this is what Operation Hope is making a claim on, that this is a new way to look at solving an old problem, that you can build silver rights, SILVER, a movement in the business suites about wealth creation, economics, hopes, opportunity, and advancement on the baseline of civil rights, which is about social justice, access, and basic dignity for all. It's not an or conversation, it's an and conversation. We need good data to be able to tell an important story. John Hope Bryant, I'm out. Leave your comments, share this video, and tell those who are not already following Operation Hope or John Hope Bryant at Operation Hope, at John Hope Bryant on social media accounts. Please do. We have a few million followers and over 100 million video views for this new movement in the Valley of the Third Reconstruction. Please read that piece I wrote. From 2020 to 2030, I believe, is the third Reconstruction in America. It's social justice through an economic lens. God bless you. Let's go change the world together, and let's use good data to do it.